Robert Kiyosaki calls it conspiracy of the rich. Welcome to Subramani. So I'm going to talk to you about conspiracy of the rich, especially connected to BFSI. The ruling elite in every country requires a constant supply of clerks for officers and sepoys for the army. There is no doubt. That is why the US, that is why the Angrez came to India, and they created a lot of clerks and a lot of army sepoys, and they created an education system fit for that. And to control all this, they also created something called the ICS, right? Now we did not change anything in the education system, and we just changed the name from ICS to IAS, and they behave exactly like that. The Babu behaves exactly like that. So whether the UPA or the BJP, nobody tries to tinker too much with the education system because it is providing the same clerks and sepoys which are needed. So let us look at this. So what does the financial service sector do? They first of all, they hire top class communication experts to fool us. The guys have very good communication skills, they make very good copy, so the guys are trained very well in communication. Believe me, there is more communication training than any training regarding the product. They need not understand the product, but they need to understand how to talk to you, right? But they talk well, but they don't understand the product, but they understand the fact that you will buy if you are spoken to very well. So you are spoken to very well. They write very good copy, they could write very good English language, and they know how to advertise on television, on press, on YouTube channels. Even this channel which you're watching, I'm sure you're going to get ads in between. And they manipulate data absolutely brilliantly. They will give you enough data to say why you should not be investing directly and you should be buying through mutual funds, why you need everything is nicely done. Then they get the ex-employees of the industry to go and man the regulators. So the regulator speaks the language of exactly the most powerful player. So the most powerful player will tell you what is to be done, and that is exactly what the regulator will speak. So good, excellent products, like for example in insurance, there were products which you could top up dramatically and therefore reduce the mortality charges. They've eliminated all those products because they want more mortality charges, and so you cannot now top up a ULIP, for example, beyond a particular limit. I have a ULIP which I could top up in the first 2-3 years and completely eliminate the mortality charges. For mortality, I always have a term insurance which I can take. Why should I take mortality in ULIPs, right? So I have done that and I have benefited, and now that product has been banned. Then getting well paid experts to come on television to convince you that these products are good. You have no clue how the television or the any media, how the media is full of paid ads, right? And now 70% of the ads are on Google and Facebook, which means for the 30% of the ad, all your newspapers, magazines, television channels, YouTube, everybody fights for that remaining 30%. You can guess how desperate the situation must be. So TRP manipulation is just a very small part of it. Sponsored programs, experts speaking like they're speaking on your behalf, right? All those things exist. And I mean, we saw how all of us got manipulated when My Name is Khan was being released, right? So that is exactly how financial media also behaves, and financial media knows how to behave much better than the regular media, right? Then scaremongering among people saying, look, you cannot do this yourself, you need an expert, you need to do this, you need to have, look at the number of children wearing clips in their teeth now. When we were in school, there should be maybe one boy or one girl in a class of 60 who wore a clip. Today there is one boy or one girl who does not wear a clip. Fair and Lovely sales is clearly a case of saying, look, you're too dark, you need to use a cream, right? So selling to your insecurities is something which they have done very well. Paying tons of money to manipulate the system and create vested interest. Look at how profitable banks are, right? 20 banks and all are profitable. How is it? Why is it that PSUs make zero money in every other business, but in banking, even the worst PSU bank is profitable, simply because of the margins that are there in the banking industry. Look at the margins of HDFC, right? HDFC Bank. Of course, it's the most efficiently run bank, but still there is so much of cream available in the banking business, and the fact that the bankers get away with anything. For example, Yes Bank under Rana Kapoor would nicely go to senior citizens and say, sir, you have a fixed deposit here, why don't you convert into tier 1 bonds? People converted that into tier 1 bonds and completely lost the money. Did anything happen to the relationship manager? No. Who lost money? The senior citizen. The other investors lost money. Did RBI bother about it? No. Does RBI ever take action against a relationship manager who has sold a lemon to you? No. Is the relationship manager under the purview of SEBI? Technically yes, but actually no. Have you seen SEBI take any action against any bank for mis-selling mutual funds? No. Have you seen RBI taking action against banks for mis-selling ULIPs or mutual funds? No, that is not their job. Their job is something else. This is not a banking function at all. This is a sales function. So it just what you call falls between the stools, right? There is absolutely no prosecution, so you get away with that. So again, making sure that all these things are done in such a way that the money is sucked from the poor and funneled back to the rich. Create millions of agents. Agents go and get, agents are told that they will be given 40% commission and the 60% goes to the manufacturers. Again, conspiracy of the rich, right? So sell through every bank, every branch, every place you sell insurance, you sell mutual funds, you sell AIF, and make sure that the manufacturers continue to make money, and sometimes even the distributor make money. Constantly sow doubts in people about the long-term thing so that they will come and do short-term activity. Who is the beneficiary? The broker. So your broker makes a lot of money when you are very active. When you are active, you don't make money, your broker makes money, your advisor makes money. Creating a compensation system which encourages short-termism, 40% upfront commission, 5% from next year onwards. Who the hell is bothered about the other 5%? Because there is 40% commission coming in the first year. They don't even care if you don't pay the premium for the second year because it's only 5% loss. They're happy collecting the 40% commission upfront. Who is the loser? You as an investor. You as an investor who buys ULIP is paying such a huge upfront charge that whether the fund does well, doesn't do well, this agent will not keep in touch with you, all those things, but they can get away with it because there is absolutely no fear that they will be persecuted either by IRDA or by the bank or by SEBI. There is no jurisdiction at all over bank relationship managers. And then there are those brilliant self-serving investor education programs, dime a dozen you can find. They just, I mean, I don't think they add too much value. I can't talk too much about it, so I'll leave it at that. Then creating new products to beat the legislation. The legislation says you should have so many products, so that's it. So there will be a child plan, there will be a pension plan, there will be an ESG fund, there will be a BSG fund, there will be a DSG fund. There will be just constantly you will have funds because those have the approval of the regulator saying, oh, you don't have such a product, so here I will give the approval. And remember, the managers who handle your provident fund, NPS, etc., most of them would have their own regular pension from the government of India. They don't have to worry about putting their own money in NPS. They have index pensions, right? Yes, some of the new guys won't have, and those guys are already cribbing. They're pushing their groups, they've created associations, and they're pushing for a regular premium. Lo and behold, one day it will be announced that the cutoff is not 2004, it is 2014 or something like that, like the Roshni Act of Jammu and Kashmir. If you don't know what it is, go and Google and find out. It's very interesting, right? Then employ a hit and run thing saying, oh, you want a refund, you'll have to take it from our Chandigarh branch. They make it impossible for you to surrender a policy. All these things go on. What does it do? One basic thing, of course it is bad for you, but largely it is a question of sucking money out of the small, medium and poor people and giving it back to the rich. Therefore, I've titled this Conspiracy of the Rich, right? Thank you.